Spoiler warning, this video contains spoilers for the Stonewalker campaign of the CosmereRPG. Johnny said a lot more than I thought he was going to, so you have been warned. What was your first Brandon book?
The Final Empire.
How long is the Stonewalkers campaign?
It is 168 pages, 7 levels, and about a year of in-world time.
Does the World Guide have a section on Aemia?
Only a little bit. We're saving that for the future.
Is Urithiru a spaceship?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Can we expect a stat block for the Stormfather?
Definitely not.
The sibling?
Definitely not.
Tien?
No, in general, we don't actually have stat blocks for the named human characters like Kaladin and Shallan and so on. You could build Tien, but that's sort of our policy to not set any of those people in stone.
Who is the end boss of the Stonewalkers campaign? Is it Lift?
No.
Is it an Unmade?
No, but you're getting warmer.
Is it someone we haven't heard about in the books and is a new character created just for this content?
That's correct. It's a corrupted Truth Watcher who is also working with some very angry shadow form regals.
Has the plot die always been a D6?
Actually, yes. It's changed. The faces have changed, but I think every version of the plot die has been a D6.
Have you been to Roshar?
I have been to the Roshar room in Cosmere House.
Who's the strongest NPC in the rulebook?
Probably the Servant of Yelignar.
Can you visit the Night Watcher in this game?
Yes, we have a whole section on that in Stonewalkers.
Does the existence of shattered planes imply the existence of shattered trains and automobiles?
No comment.
Can you do a Thalen accent?
Yeah, it's sort of like you run your words together and speak a little bit like this. I don't know what you're talking about. That's my best Thalen.
Now, can you grow some Thalen eyebrows?
I'm getting older and I'm starting to think that whenever I get little grays in my eyebrows.
Can we get a Larkin in this game?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we get a Chasm Fiend?
Yes.
Are there rules for being a singer with forms of power?
Yes.
Do you know the end of the Cosmere?
I do not.
How old were you when you played your first TTRPG?
Too young to remember. My dad brought home the original D&D red box, and it was, I think I was 4.
How old were you when you knew you wanted to make your own TTRPG?
I think I made my first attempt at one when I was 11. It was based on Final Fantasy.
Will we ever get to play as a dragon in the Cosmere RPG?
That feels like a yes.
What magic system are you most looking forward to designing mechanics for in the future?
Probably Aeondor.
How many sky marks to a boxing?
If they're infused, a lot.
If you could visit one planet in the Cosmere for vacation, which would it be?
Probably Nulthus. It's one that will not insta-kill you, and Blushweaver lives there.
Does Hoyd show up in Stonewalkers?
Not unless you want him to, but Axes plays a similar role.
What color is your toothbrush?
It's white. It's like a Sonic hair.
Same. If an Edge Dancer and a Dustbringer have a baby, did their Spren also have a baby?
I don't know if this is a reference to something, but probably not.
If a player is a Radiant, does the GM roleplay their Spren, or did they roleplay their Spren?
We generally see it's a bit of a back and forth between the two. While you're still bonding them, the GM does some of the role playing, and then sometimes the GM will be like, "Oh, your Spren is nervous about this," or "Your Spren notices something." But other times the GM or the player can kind of express how their Spren feels about something, especially if it's a good bond.
Does this role-playing system have a name?
Yeah, the underlying system is Plot Weaver.
Are you planning on doing non-Cosmere settings with it?
Yes.
How's work on the Mistborn rulebook coming?
Really good. It's in some final playtesting, but we're already at the like editing stage. So it's in kind of like actual like developmental editing right now, which is just prior to copy editing.
Do you expect it to launch the same time frame next year, or will it be earlier or later?
About the same.
You're pretty much locked into the Cosmere for life now, right?
Yeah.
What do you got?
It's a lot. It's a lot, right? But I'm excited.
What have you gotten yourself into?
Yeah.
Would you rather be Radiant or Mistborn?
Radiant.
Samurai or Ninja?
That feels like the same question. Samurai.
Are there rules for playing with a Dawn Shard in the rulebook?
No, but maybe someday.
Do you think that cognitive shadows are the actual consciousness of the person, or just a copy of that consciousness, a la the Prestige or Star Trek?
I think unless you have more than one copy, that's functionally the same thing.
How many pieces of artwork did you yourself draw for the Stormlight World Guide?
I drew 0, but as part of art direction, I drew over some. Like to say, hey, make this shorter, make this look different. There are a few bits of my own like Photoshoppery that probably made it into some final pieces, and I marked up one of Isaac's maps, but that's about it.
What's cooler, a gun that shoots ghosts or a ghost that shoots guns?
A gun that shoots ghosts, of course.
Do you think Roshar's moons are made of cheese?
I think that would make them overpowered versus shard blades, so no.
What are you most proud of from this project?
The team. We've managed to build this just really incredible, lovely team of people who are working on it, who are just like awesome people. And that's probably my favorite accomplishment.
Did the final Kickstarter total surprise you?
Yes.
What were your internal targets?
We were hoping for 4 million and considered 8 million to be like the absolute cap.
What license is the CosmereRPG released under?
It is, we've got a fan content policy that's on the CosmereRPG.com website, but the actual like open game license for it will be the Plot Weaver game license. In general, with like licensed RPGs, it gets very messy if you try to license it out to people. Like this is Dragonsteel's IP, not something that other people can monetize.
So to be clear, can I sell my homebrew module One Wild Night in Bobanartham for profit, or do I have to give it away for free?
It sounds like you should just give that to the world for free.
Okay. Can you bond multiple Spren in this game?
Yes.
Of different orders?
Yes.
Of the same order?
Yes, though that like, yeah. I mean, both are possible, but they would look sort of like what they look like in the books, which is to say rare and not necessarily that pleasant.
Do you think Chauta is overrated or underrated?
Maybe underrated.
Moash, misunderstood or a big dumb jerk?
At Dragonsteel Nexus last year, my lead writer, Lydia Sun, hosted a panel called like Moash is Right, and I fired her.
When is the release of the digital versions of the Stormlight materials?
July 23rd.
How was this interview?
It was lovely. Thank you.